Let's get straight to it. 2015 Honda Civic. This is the 1.8 liter engine. So I have the car safely in the air. I have my jack stand in place and my jack as well. So once you're underneath the car, you see what needs to be removed. So we need to access this area here. So we need to remove this whole piece that goes from the left to the right. It's all one piece. This can be removed, but that won't really help us for what we need. So we need to remove the whole thing to get to that transmission over here, because this is all one piece here. This comes off, but it can be removed as one piece. So to get this off in one piece, there's two 10 millimeters to be removed from here. So there's one right there, and on this side there's another one here, and after that it's just a bunch of clips. So you got a clip there, so you got a clip here to remove, and another one here in the front, and then there's about 3 in the back. So you have one right there in the back, you have one right there, and you have one right there. So that's 3 in the back, two in the front, and then the two 10 millimeters that's here to be removed, and that should be able to get this whole thing completely down. So to get these out, you can use a body panel clip style like this or like that to pry behind it. So you use this and you get to pry behind it, and then you can pull it straight out like that. All right, so with that cover off, now we can clearly see our transmission pan. So we have to drain it first. So all we need to do is get a 3/8 drive in here. So you get a 3/8 ratchet, put the drive in here, and then we'll be able to turn this drain plug out and start to drain the transmission fluid. So of course you're gonna need a pan to catch the fluid in, and we're not gonna reuse this fluid, so we got new fluid for this. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this drained out. All right, so I was able to break this free, and now it's loose enough for me to turn it by hand. So I got my container in place to catch the spill. So just like an oil change, we're gonna get this loose, and then we're gonna snatch it back really quick so we don't make a real mess. If this stream hits your hand, it's gonna bounce this fluid everywhere. So right now it's loose. We just gotta snatch this off into the side and make sure that the container is set. So we're gonna snatch this off into the side. 1, 2, 3. All right, just like that. So we seen it came out, and we have our container down here. So we still made a little bit of mess, nothing too much, and that's why we have this cardboard down here as well, to catch any overflow. Now while this drains out, I'm going to show you something neat. So this plug has a magnet in it, and it catches any metal shavings that goes down to the bottom, and this looks almost like liquefied shavings. And the good news is there's not much as far as shavings down here, so that's a really good sign for this transmission. We don't have a lot of metal down here, so that's good. All right, so we're just gonna let that continue to drain right there. So now a good rule of thumb for filling this up is, especially if the car is running good and you don't have any shifting or transmission problems before this, a good rule of thumb is to put back in what you took out. So I'm gonna take this and pour this into something where I can measure. That way I can know how much to put in. And we can go ahead and put our drain plug all the way back in, and we'll get that tightened down. All right, so we have the drain plug tightened. So there's 2 ways to fill this. So there's a plug right here, you can remove that, but then you have to use like a pump with a hose that can go in there and you have to pump that, and that can just be a lot and messy. But you can also add the fluid from the top the old school way. All right, so let's get ready to fill this. So if we didn't know that this was empty, then it would be hard to fill from the top because we wouldn't know how much we need. So if you don't know how much is in there, then it's good to fill from that bolt that I showed you at the bottom. That way, once it starts to come out the side, you know it's full. But in this case, it's empty, so we know it needs 4 quarts. So if you look right here, so I moved this piece just so you can see better, but technically you don't have to move it because this sits here and you can actually reach down in here and you can get that plug. You can get that plug out right here, and you can, if you have a long transmission funnel, you can fit it from here. But I removed this part so you can see easier. And also, if you and this is easy to remove, by the way, just pull that straight off of there. Just yours may have a hose clamp, mine didn't. If you loosen that, pull that straight off of here and then pull that up off of there. It's very easy to remove. And now we can see where we fill this transmission fluid at. So now with this removed, I can actually get a different funnel in here without having to use a transmission funnel. So if you don't have a transmission funnel, then you should remove this also. So since these bottles are small, I can just take it just like that and pour it right down that funnel. All right, so we have all 4 quarts in here and we have our tube back on. So we can go ahead and start putting our bottom cover back up here the same way we got it out